السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم فقهنا في الدين. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا آمين يا رب العالمين. So here we are with our session for intermediate group inshallah. So we are going to um inshallah going to do a quick review before we start a new topic inshallah. So I hope this was very clear to each and every one of you. What are the types of fail? How many of you are now well versed with the type of fail and the terminology used with the fail? This is intermediate session, right? Yeah. So in the last session, you were able to complete a session before you were able to complete Suratul Fil, right? And this one we are just using it for this session is going to be just for intermediate students, intermediate to advanced group, who are hoping to get to advanced group inshallah. Okay, this is this session is for intermediate to advanced. Okay, so if that's a question. So now that we have clarified which session we are in, let me know if everything is clear to you all, of what we have covered in the last session. Everyone was able to go through the slides of types of fail. Type 1 if you were able to see them. Now this is something that I have noticed that now that people are given the resources so easily, the interest and the passion and the dedication is not the same. In the past, when very few resources were available and they were not as readily available as they are now, people used to take good notes. People used to work very hard. Each and every word that used to come from their teacher's mouth was very precious to them, and they used to learn a lot because they knew that there is not very many opportunities available. You know how you sometimes when there is more of something, things tend to lose barakah. There was less of resources, however they were more mubarak, they were more filled with barakah, little was more. So people have very efficiently learned a whole lot with very little resources, if I am to be honest. We personally, the type of work I do, I was not able to attend many classes, and was not able to be part of 10 different classes. However, with very little that I could be part of, I try to make sure that I take full notes, and I'm listening to my teacher very carefully, and I'm making notes. If something is not clear, I'm using the resources to have that confusion clarified. And it took me a lot of time to get to where I'm still learning along with you all. However, I'm just sharing my journey briefly today, just so that we know how to effectively utilize our time, how to be efficient students, and how to be efficient teachers of deen, because it's very very important that whatever is brought to you, if you are not effectively utilizing it, it's not going to stay with you, right? So always make sure that you take good notes. You are whatever you are doing for the next session, you have reviewed the material that you have has been covered in the last session. Okay, so give me an example of a fail that is mutaaddin li maf'ulain. However, its maf'ulain are not part of jumla ismiya, are not in original form mubtada or khabar. Give me one example of a fi'l that is mutaaddi li maf'ulain. Who can give me an example of a fi'l? So very good job, very good job. Okay, now give me an example of a fail which is always going to be taking jumla failya fail mudare as its khabar, and it does not have an action. Okay, very good job. Kada is the answer. Very good job. And do you have any other fail in mind? Give me a failu shuru in Quran. That is not on my slide, but give me an example of failu shuru in Quran that had jumla fail ya fail mudari as its example, as its khabar. Very good job, Rabia. Very good job. Tafiqa. Very good job. In when you heard, when you were narrated the story of Adam alayhi salam, Tafiqa was the fail that was used from failu shuru, that only is going to take fail mudare as its khabar and is included in fail nakis along with kada and its sisters, right? So tafiqa, you did not find it on my slide. I had an example of akhadha or ja'ala, shara'a, bada'a as an example, but not tafiqa. Okay, so keep in mind. Okay, one second. Okay. And now let me ask you one more thing. Give me an example of fail that is, actually give me example of two types of af'al that are always going to be non-flexible. They are always non-flexible. Non-flexible af'al. So madin and fi'lul amr. Very good job. Fi'l madin and fi'lul amr are always going to be mabni. Mabni. When it comes to mabni, remember when I'm asking you non-flexible, that means that fi'l that is not going to change its ending. That's never going to change its ending, and those af'al are fi'l madin and fi'lul amr. True or false? Fi'l mudari is fully flexible in all cases, in all situations. False, right? It is false. What are the two situations when they are present in fi'l mudare, it becomes non-flexible? Are the what is going to make fi'l mudare non-flexible? And this has been asked very many times. It's going to be, so listen and carefully. So give me two particles or two something that are going to make your fi'l mudare non-flexible: nunu niswa and nunu tawkid. Nunu niswa, nunu tawkid. What are the two harakas? And you include your sukoon in here as well, right? For now. So what are the two harakas with which fi'l mudare is going to be non-flexible? We have covered this in the last session. One is fatha, very good job. And one is fatha and sukoon, very good job, very good job. It is going to be mabni ala sukoon with which noon? Which noon is going to make your fail mudari mabni ala sukoon? Noonu niswa is going to make your fail mudari mabni ala sukoon. Which noon is going to make your fail mudare mabni alal fatha? Nunu tokid, nunu tokid, nunu tokid. Your fail mudare, always remember, is going to be mabni or non-flexible only with fatha or a sukoon. What is going to make it mabni? You already have covered that very many times. Nunu niswa, nunu tokid. Nunu niswa is going to make it mabni ala sukoon as in hunna yansurna, antunna tansurna. Nunu niswa, nunu tokid is going to make it mabni al fath. So if I now give you an example of fail, yansurunna, lanabluwunna, what will you think about it? Is it mabni ala, is it mabni? Will you consider it mabni? It is flexible. It's flexible. Why so? Why why are we calling it flexible though? Do you ever wonder why are we calling yansurunna, or why are we calling lanabluwunna flexible? When it comes to your status, when it comes to the status, you always need to remember status is going to be either by haraka, or by a letter. Do you all understand this? The status is determined either by a letter or a haraka. If I give you yansuru, is the status determined by a haraka or a letter? What do you think? Haraka, haraka, right? Dhamma, right? Dhamma is giving you the haraka, is determined by haraka. Look at your af'alul khamsa. What is one thing common in your af'alul khamsa? Give me one common uniting factor of af'alul khamsa. Noon, 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 noonul i'rab, right? Every noon in here that is highlighted with a fluorescent blue is your noonul i'rab, right? So in here, if I am saying that this is marfu bi subutin noon and mansoob majzoom bi hasfin noon, can I now add that, this is mabni ala dam, or should I just drop that, should I just not talk about it? Should I just keep it in the category of flexible? What do you think? Should I keep it flexible? Yes, always remember. There was a question Sister Deepa was asking that should we call this one, this one Nansuran, this one you have here. Sorry, I gave you a wrong example. It was not Nablu Wunna, it was Nablu Wanna. I meant to say Yablu Wunna. Meant to say Yablu Wunna or Tablu Wunna. Okay. So when it comes to a fail that is going to be taking or showing you its i'rab with a haraka, you are going to keep it just in a separate category to make things easy for each and every one of you. Always remember, there are only two ways your fail mudare is going to be. There are two harakat with which your fail mudare is not flexible. Can you all see? It is either going to be fatha or a sukoon. Is this clear to all of you? It's going to be either al-fath or a sukoon, and there is no other thing that is going to make your fail mudari non-flexible. How many of you are with me in understanding that there are only two harakat with which my fail mudari is going to be non-flexible? It's going to be al-fath or as-sukoon. If it is any other haraka, any yansurunna, yahsabunna, anything else, you are going to consider it flexible. You're going to consider it flexible. Type 1, if you are with me. Type 2, if you still are confused about it. So most of you have understood that this is going to be, there are only two ways. Fail mudari is going to be non-flexible. There are only going to be two ways it is going to be non-flexible. It's going to be non-flexible with nunu niswa and nunu tawkid. Both nunu tawkid al-sakila, nunu tawkid al-khafifa, both of them make it non-flexible, are going to make it non-flexible. But you are only going to call it non-flexible if the letter before noon mushaddad or noon sakin is non-flexible with a fatha. Okay, because there is no other way it's going to be non-flexible. Okay, I hope this has been now very very clear to all of you. So with your fail mudare, when I taught you everything, everyone is, I hope, very clear that you have to have a fail mudari mabni al fath, and when it is attached with the nunu niswa, it is going to be mabni al sukun. When you look at your fail madin, everyone is with me in understanding that there are how many ways that your non fail madin is going to show you its non-flexible status. How are the three halat of fail madin in case of non-flexible status? It is non-flexible always. It is always non-flexible. But what are the three harakat that you are going to see on your non-flexible fail madin? It's going to be fatha, it's going to be sukoon, and it is going to be dhamma. When it is going to be dhamma? When it is going to be dhamma? In case of whom, it is going to be dhamma. Very good job. In case of hunna till nahnu, from the hunna till nahnu, it is going to be mabni ala sakoon. I hope this is very, very clear to all of you. And when it comes to the rest of the af'al, there are four here: nasara, nasara, nasarat, nasarata. In here, these four are going to be mabni ala al-fath, right? How about word like da'a, or word like sa'a, word like jara? How are you going to now call them non-flexible? How are you going to make them non-flexible? A word like, this one, the ones that you are seeing are easy ones. What about if I give you a word like rama, jara, da'a? in here you are simply going to just say that mabni alal fathatul muqaddara or al fathal muqaddar, right? Everyone is going to assume, just like we do with fail mudari, that it is marfu bid dammatul muqaddara. Words like yar tarda, yad'u, yahdi, they have dammatul muqaddara. Similarly, in fail madin, your words like rama, jara, da'a are going to be called mabni alal fatatul muqaddar or fatal muqaddar. Everyone, I think, is very well versed with that. Similarly, when I show you, if I show you something like ramat, now what? Ramat, word like ramat, like nasarat. So you will again go back to your, you are going to go back to your basic, right? You are going to go back to your basic grammar and basic table, and then you are again going to say that this is again mabni ala fatatul muqaddar. But where is this fatah? On which letter is going to be the fatah in case of Rama? On the lamul kalima. So it is it alal ya or alal alif? Very good job, Shaheen. It is going to be mabni alal fatha al muqaddar alal aliful mahzufa. The alif that has been dropped, right? That has been dropped. It is going to be assumed to be on that alif. Why did alif get dropped here? What was the reason? Why do we don't see alif here? Who can tell me why it is not there? Very good job, Shaheen. Because of iltaqai sakinain, two sakins cannot be together, and alif is sakin daiman, right? It is always going to be sakin. So that alif is dropped here, but when you are going to write your harakat, or you are going to write your i'rab, you are going to say that this fail ramat is mabni alal fatatul fata al muqaddar ala al alif al mahzufa, that has been omitted. Al alif, there was an we are assuming an alif on alif, we are assuming a fatha on an alif that has been dropped. And why it has been dropped? Because of iltaqai sakinain. Is this clear to all of you? And similarly, when you have something like this word, if the word is da'au, jarau, mashau, now what you are going to say? Like in nasaru, zahabu, akalu, fahimu, darasu, it's easy, right? You can say it is mabni alal dam. Mabni alal dam, right? Mabni alal dam. So in here, when you see jarau, da'au, mashau, what are you going to say? Though the answer is right there on your screen, but think about it without looking at the answer. Use your brain. Use your brain and give me an answer. If there was a jara, and when you have jarau, there is something that had got omitted there. You all remember that from your advanced surf, that there was a hasf of harf illa, right? Why did that got dropped? Why did it get dropped? So it was jara you. It was originally jara you. So when ya is there, and the letter before, when waw and ya are there and the letter before has a fatha, what happens? First step first. When there is a fatha on the letter before ya, which has a haraka or something, what happens to that ya? Ya gets changed into, there is ilal bil qalb, it changes into alif. It changes into alif, right? So jara you becomes, your ya is now changed into alif. And now when alif is sakin and waw is sakin, when two sakins are together, the first sakin is going to be dropped, right? And you're just left with jarau, right? You're just left with jarau. But if you are going to write anything there, fail madin, when you are going to write the i'rab of the word, you are going to say that this madin is mabni ala dam ala aliful mahzufa, right? Is this clear? Because there was alif al mahzufa, the alif was was the one that was going to get adamma, and that got dropped. Why did it got dropped? Because of iltaqai sakinain. Okay. It is little tricky when it comes to these of all. And remember, however, when you do more practice, it's going to be very, very clear to you. For those of you who have done advanced serve, they should not have that much of a trouble. But once you have understood how the letters are dropping, what are the ilal bil qalb and wal hazf has taken place, and then you are left with the word, and now you are going to think about what was left there, what was the the word that was left there, and based on the haraka of the this fatha, you are going to determine what got dropped and what is going to take upon an assumed haraka, and which in this case is going to be dam on alif that got dropped. Okay, so keep in mind those few things. And when it comes to your failul amr, do you know how many of you know that we have covered failul amr, but I did not completely complete that because it was towards the end of the session, and usually I start to lose my brain there. So I wanted you to see, show you, I wanted you to see how your failul amr can be mabni. Okay, so it can be mabni ala sukun, it can be mabni ala hasfin noon. You covered that part, right? That part was covered in the last session. How it's going to be unsur, unsura, unsuru. So in case of anta, it is mabni ala sukun. In case of hunna, unsurna, it is again mabni ala sukun. Do you all remember that? In case of afalul khamsa, all afalul khamsa are the fail that is coming from failul amr, that is constructed from afalul khamsa. And those afal that have aliful isnain, babil jama'a, ya al mukhataba, your fail amr is going to be mabni ala hasfin noon. That part is clear? Yes or no? That now it is mabni ala hasfin noon in antuma unsura, antum unsuru, anti unsuri, antuma unsura, right? The first one and the sixth one is mabni ala sukun. Anta and antunna are mabni ala sukun. Everyone, and unsurna, this is going to be considered mabni ala sukun. What about when your fail is something like this? Tad'u, tarda, tahdi, tas'a. Now what happens? Now what happens? Is it now going to be, when you look at your failul amr, ud'u, arda, ihdi, is'a, irda, ihdi, is'a, is it mabni ala sukun or what? It is mabni ala hasfi harfi illa. Very good job. So it is, these are all are going to be found under the category of mabni ala hasfi harful illa. Everyone with me so far? That how, if your failul amr is going to end with a weak letter, it becomes mabni ala hasfi harfi illa. Okay, just the same things, those three alamatul jazm that you have already covered, right? The same alamatul jazm are now coming in handy when you are doing your flexibility or non-flexibility of your failul amr, right? Now, I have also written on my slide that your fail madin can also be mabni al fath. Can anyone remind me, or can anyone tell me? Because there was a whole series I did, and it was so I found it so dry, and that I personally I thought that it's too much for the students. I deleted it after some time. So tell me. Very good job, Husneara. Very good job. So when your failul amr has nunu tokid attached to it, it is going to be mabni al fath. This is a fact not many know, that your failul amr can have nunu tokid. In Quran, it did not have it, so it does not. I have not emphasized it very much. However, when I covered failul amr, I covered it in those slides, and this is from the same slides that I have already taught in the short series. So, but the slides are there. Short series is not there anymore. But for now, I just want you to know that your failul amr can have nunu tokid al khafifa, it can have nunu tokid al thaqila. When it will have these noons, can you see how your unsur is going to become now non-flexible. Instead of being non-flexible with sukoon, it is now non-flexible with fatha when nunu tawkid, as-sakila and al-khafifa are attached to it. It will become unsuran, anta unsuran, you should definitely help, and unsuranna, you should definitely help, right? Can you all see that how from mabni al sukun, when noon got attached to it, when nunu tokid attached to failul amr, it became mabni al fath. Type 1 if you have understood this, if this is clear to all of you. So now that you have seen that this happened with anta, this happened basically with anta, also you need to know the noon, when it comes to your noon. Remember, when it comes to nunul khafifa, it neither attaches to duals nor to feminine plural. This is one thing that you need to know. And for the rest of the af'al that are going to be from af'alul khamsa, when nunu tawkid comes to them, when nunu tawkid attaches to them, you will notice that they are going to be again mabni ala hasfin noon. It is just going to be mabni ala hasfin noon, just like in fail mudare. Fail mudare is only going to be mabni al fatha, right? Similarly, when failul amr, when it comes to flexibility of failul amr, only it is going to be mabni al fath. It is going to be mabni al fath in here. You are going to call it mabni al fath here because of nunu tokid is now attached to it. And but in when it comes to here unsura or unsuru, unsuri, unsura, you are going to call this is again, this one is mabni. However, it is mabni ala hasfin noon. Okay, it is going to be mabni ala hasfin noon. Type 1 if you understood this fact. This is not in Quran, so we, I know this is a little when I was teaching it for the first time, it was a little too I found it later on that it was a little too much of information, and still I'm seeing that people are finding it hard, but just always remember that the four ways your fi'lul amr can be mabni with: Al-Fatha when Nunu Tokid is attached to it, As-Sukun in case of Anta, and Antunna in case of when Nunu Niswa is there and when there is no pronoun there. In that case, it is going to be Mabni ala Sukun, and it can be Mabni ala Hasfi Harfu Illa, it can be Mabni ala Hasfi Noon. Okay, this is all, this and this is all you need to know. Type 1 if you are happy and you are relaxed now. But you should know there are four ways that your failul amr can be mabni, and these four ways should be clear to each and every one of you. Okay. So now, what I've selected for you to do with me today for my intermediate group, for my intermediate to advanced group, was a very beautiful hadith of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I have already covered it once before, but I want you to do it real quick with me, so that everyone is on the same page. I see we have students from different levels, so it's very important that everyone understands how to do Arab, and it's not just take help from Arab books, but how to do it independently on your own. It's very important, and I have to train you for that, and myself as well. So when you look at this ma in the beginning of your hadith, as you have seen on your Google Doc, what does this ma remind you of? If I show you ma min abadin qala la ilaha illallah thumma mata ala dhalik illa dakhala al-jannata. So you are all typing that this ma is ma of negation, right? This ma is a negative ma. Very good job. Answer is correct. Give me a giveaway that helped you decide that this is going to be a ma that is going to be used for negation. Is there any clue there? And Sister Shahnaz is very smart there with a clue that there is a ma followed by illa, I need to think about ma for a very beginner. For a very beginner, always remember, start from, when you were in kindergarten, and those rules and, those basic concepts are going to be help you a long way, definitely. Okay, I'm telling you that. So if you have a ma that is followed by illa, the first thought that you should come to your mind is that this ma is most likely going to be my ma nafiya. When it comes to ma nafiya, how many types of ma nafiya have you covered with me? There are three types of ma nafiya. What are those three types of ma nafiya? One is muhmila. Okay, very good job, muhmila. You started with muhmila. So ma al hijaziya and ma غير عاملة. There are three types. Okay, there are no more than one, two, three. There are only the three types of ma. And when it comes to this ma, before you determine the type of this ma, you should know that this is ma nafiya, and ma nafiya is can be ma nafiya muhmila, ma nafiya hijaziya, and ma nafiya غير عاملة. Why not غير عاملة? Can I call this ma غير عاملة? What is there that makes this ma muhmila? And your answer is correct. What is there which makes it muhmila? Very good job. Number one, the presence of ma in jumla ismiya. Ma ghair amila is only and only for jumla fi'liya. If you remember, your ma ghair amila is only and only for jumla fi'liya. When it comes to the type of ma, the ma that is going to negate jumla fi'liya, that ma is only going to be called ma ghair amila. The next two types of ma that you see are going to be, one second here. I wanted you to see the slide as well. One second, please. Okay. The ma that you are going to see in here is going to be your ma, which is because it is entering your jumla ismiya, it is ma nafiya, either hijaziya or ma nafiya al muhmila. Why am I going to say that this cannot be ma nafiya al amila? You already gave me the answer to that. You already have an answer to that. So what is there? Because of what we are not, we this cannot be hijaziya or amila. What made it muhmila? Illa is there. Very good job. Whenever you have ma, and you find illa between mubtada and khabar, you are going to call that ma nafiya, ma nafiya muhmila, right? Because of the presence of illa, it can no longer be considered al hijaziya. So this is clear to all of you, right? So far, everyone got it? Okay, now you have ma, and then which was followed by, now that you have already identified your ma as nafiya, then comes your min abdin, min abdin. What does it remind you of? There is jar wal majroor, and there is a negation. There's a negated sentence here, and when you have min in a negated sentence, you'd start to think about min zaida. But my dear students, if I it was al abdi, if it was al abdi, can it still be min zaida? Can I still call? Why not? Why not? Because there is one of the conditions, this is one of the conditions for min, that min zaida only and only is going to attach itself to an ism that is nakira. Very good job. So this one is very clear to all of you. What is another situation, other than negated sentence, what is another situation where you can find your min? What is another situation where you will find min zaida? Istifham. Very good job. With hal, Very good job. Very well done. You have seen it very many times with hal, but in any istifham, you can expect to see min zaida. And also remember your min zaida again. Remember that it is going to be attaching itself to a commonism. Another very important something that I want you to tell me about this min is what what is when it comes to jumla ismiya. When it comes to jumla ismiya, where do you see min? Where do you find min in jumla ismiya? What is the position of min? What does it attach itself to? Will it attach itself to anything, or there is something specific it is going to attach itself to? It is only and only going to attach itself to the mubtada of the sentence. If that makes sense, type 1. It is only going to attach itself to the mubtada of the sentence. If you find it in jumla failure, if you find it in jumla failure, what is some where will you find it? Where can you find it in jumla failure? Min zaida. It can attach itself to the file, it can attach itself to maf'ul, both of them it can attach itself to. In case of fail lazim, what is an option? If it is a fail lazim, then it is going to attach itself to only and only file. But if it is mutaaddi, then it can attach itself to mafulun bihi as well. So this is all that you need to know about your min zaida. Can you see? It is found in a negated sentence or jumla istifhamia, always attaches to commonism, meaning is there is there is nothing zaida in Quran or in the language of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is always a reason for a word or a letter or anything to be there, and in here it adds an additional emphasis, not a single, or you can add any to the translation when it comes to a sentence that has min zaida. And again, you have already told me, you're so smart, everyone is so smart in this class, everyone knows that it is going to attach itself to mubtada in case of jumla ismiya, and in jumla fi'liya it can attach itself to either file, and it is only going to attach itself to file when fail is lazim, but when it fail is mutaaddi, it has an option of attaching itself to mafulun bihi as well. So I hope this is a quick recap of min. Alhamdulillah for all of you. Now you have abadin followed by qala. Is there any way you can connect these two together? Not a single man dies who says La ilaha illallahu. So it is, you want to call qala um, sifa of abadin. How many of you agree with this and type 1? You all have typed already that this is sifa and you all agree to this so when you have a jumla, is it jumla coming up as sifa? Yes or no? Qala is huwa qala, right? It's a jumla failya fail madin mabni al fatha, right? Just what we were doing today. So this one, if I ask you, what is a condition for this to be mawsuf and sifa? What are the conditions for this to serve as mawsuf wa sifa? Ism must be common, and jumla must have an ayat that goes back to communism. There are very, rare cases when there may not be, that the meat present, but for the most part, you will notice that there is going to be mawsuf that is common, and the sentence will have a pronoun that goes back to the communism. And in here, huwa is going back to abdin. Everyone agrees with that? After qala yakulu, whatever comes, what do you call it? What do you call what comes after qala yakulu if it is a statement? If it is an inverted comma statement, it is going to become makulul qawl, and makulul qawl is going to be what in status? Fi mahalli nasbin, because it ends. Why is it fi mahalli nasbin? Fi mahalli because it is a sentence, And nasbin, because it is answering your what question. Very good job. Very good job. Is makulul qawl always going to be fi mahalli nasbin? True or false? Always? Sister Arham does not agree. Why, Sister Arham? And your answer is correct. Why is it not going to be always fi mahalli nasbin? Think about if your makulul qawl comes after kila. What is it going to be in that case? Kila lahum aminu. It is going to be naibul file. It is going to be naibul file. And in that case, is it fi mahalli raf'in or fi mahalli nasbin? It is going to become fi mahalli raf'in. Very good job. Clear to each and every one of you? That what it is, we have to pay attention to our basics, right? We need to always go back and review our basics so that we master our advanced grammar, inshallah. Okay, now everyone is clear that this one is fi mahalli nasbin, but if it was kila, it is said to them, and there is a makulul qawl after passive, it is going to be naibul file fi mahalli rafin, right? So after you have determined that this is your makulul qawl, now let's enter in this sentence. La ilaha. What type of la is there? Real quick. La nafia. Is it any la nafia, or there is something very specific about this? Ilaha. La nafiatu lil jins. Very good job. It is negating the entire species of deities there, out there. The entire species of anything out there that is to be worshipped, that there is nothing that is to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did I teach you about this la? Will it in Quran, when it comes to la nafiyatul lil jins, what did I teach you? Something, I taught you one thing that I was taught by my teacher. um, hmm, that its khabar is mawjudun, and it is always mahzoof. Very good job. Very good job. So la ilaha mawjudun. It is la ilaha mawjudun illallahu, right? Illallahu. So this is to be understood as la ilaha mawjudun illallahu. Very good job. So its khabar is mahzoof in here as well. In Quran, it's always mahzoof. So mawjudun is something that is mahzoof. And illa, when it comes to illa, how will you label this illa? Harf. Very good job. So among the three types categories, it is going to be, you want to call it for hasar, okay? And Allahu is going to be, Allahu is can be labeled as mustasna, and it can be when you have something like this situation, you are going to just take the i'rab based on the position of the words. Okay, if you treat illa as harf istasna lil hasar, istasnaya lil hasar, then based on where its position is, you are going to do the i'rab. You can call it a badal, you can call it a badal from mawjudun, and some may call it a badal from ilaha. Okay, is this clear? That Allahu is going to be considered as badal based on its position. Okay, then comes summa. Then comes summa. What is summa? It is a harf. It is harf atf. Very good job. So this is the hadith of my beloved Prophet and your beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm just giving you an example for learning purposes. If this was a summa instead of summa, it was samma. Will it still be harf atf? If the sa had a fatha instead of dhamma, what will it be then? It is a place. Very good job, Alkans. It is a zarf in that case. And what will be the i'rab of that zarf? If something is zarf, it is mabni al fath, right? It's going to be considered mabni al fath fi mahali nasbin, and it's usually muta'alliq bil, right? You are all typing the right answers. Very good job. But this is summa, and we are going to treat it as harf atf. If it is harf, it has no i'rab, right? But it was samma, it is a place, and then you will deal with it accordingly. Then comes your word mata, mata. Mata is going to be fail madin hua. Very good job. And if it is madin hua, um, everyone know that how will you, if you are calling qala as sifa for abadin, what will be the status of qala? It is going to be jar because abadin is jar. Hmm? It is jar. So, and then summa mata, then he died. He said la ilaha, then he died. La ilaha illallahu, and he died. So, summa mata, mata is going to be fi'il madin mabni al fath fi mahalli jar bil atf. Everyone is going to treat it like that because it is jumlatul matufa. Very good job. Ala zalik, jar wal majroor, coming in your jumlatul fi'liya. Jar wal majroor in your jumla fi'liya. What are you going to label it as? Okay. So muta'alliq bil fi'l. Can there be any other way you can label this muta'alliq bil? Is there any other way you can treat it? He died upon that. It can be hal. Very good job, Shaheen. Very good job. This is Reena and Alkans and Sajida. Very good job. Then he died upon that. In the state, he died in the state that he was upon La ilaha illallah. Right? So this can be hal. So keep, make sure you understand it like that. Okay. So in you can call it muta'alliq bi hal mahzufa. Okay. From the anil file huwa, the mir mustatir, which was the mir mustatir huwa in case of mata. Right. Then comes another illa in here, and this illa um, is going to connect with the main sentence. So this one, what will you label it as? Give me the i'rab for this illa. Harf, very good job. Very well done. You are going to just think about just how you treat it. Just think about it. You are seeing it. Very good job. This was the answer I was looking for. This is again harf istasnaya lil hasr. Lil hasr. So this is going to be the category where when it comes to istasna that we have covered in our course, this is going to be istasna mufaragh, and whatever comes after illa is going to be labeled based on its position, right? Based on its position. So you have a mubtada in here, right? A mubtada was min abadin, right? Majroor lafzan marfu mahallan. After mubtada, you have a sifa for mubtada. Qala la ilaha illallah thumma mata ala zalik, right? So this all went in the same place where abadin has gone. Everyone with me understood this so far? If there is any confusion, please let me know now. Okay? Everyone is with me that how we have connected. Munaza, you are confused about it, dear? So abadin was connected to qala through mawsufa sifa. Qala had a makulul qawl after it, which is fi mahalli nasbin la ilaha illallahu. Summa harf atf connected another sentence with qala, and they also were included, in the same bucket as qala because they are unattached, inseparable through harf at summa here. So mata is going to stay connected to qala. See how you called it fi mahalli jar bil atf, right? You understood it as fi mahalli jar bil atf. So everything ala zalik is mutalik bi hal mahzuf for mata. So everything is connected so far. This whole chunk is describing your abd. Yes or no? Is a description from this abd. Now you have a mubtada, and for every mubtada, you have to look for a khabar, right? Every mubtada is going to have a khabar, right? So here you have ma, mutalik bi mahzuf hal. Question why? Because ala zalik is jar wal majroor. So with jar wal majroor, whenever jar wal majroor is there and it is coming up as a sifa or as a hal, you use it as mutalik bi hal, right? You use it as mutalik bi hal. Okay. Then comes mahzoof, because it's always considered mahzoof with to something. It's like mutalik bhi mahzoof khabar. You always use this terminology. We are saying that this is hal from the mir mustatir hua of mata. We are calling it as a hal of mata, but when you label it, it is always considered to be hal mahzufa, because it is a jar wal majroor, and jar wal majroor is always labeled this way. They are considered mutalik bil mahzoof something. Okay. So then comes your illa, and you have determined, you have the whole story for your mubtada, and now you needed a khabar. And what is your khabar in here? Dakhala, dakhala al jannah. So jumla failure is your khabar in here. Dakhala, huwa dakhala, and this is talking about this this abd who says la ilaha illallah, and he died upon la ilaha illallah, right? So this person is going to now enter Jannah, right? Dakhala is going to be fail madin mabni al fath, the and will file the mean mustatir huwa, and al jannata, what will be al jannata? It is going to be maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi. Okay? It's going to be labeled as it's maf'ulun bihi for dakhala. Everyone got it? It is going to be maf'ulun bihi for fail dakhala. So now, before I and if I asked you what is the status of this, what is the status of this dakhal al janatu? How will you label this whole sentence? It's going to become fi mahali raf'in khabru mubtada, right? This is fi mahali raf'in khabar of the mubtada. How many of you have really understood this hadith of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Is this clear to each and every one of you? Is it dakhala is going to be mutaaddi. It is going to be mutaaddi. It is fail mutaaddi. It is mutaaddi. It is going to be mutaaddi, literally mutaaddi, when it is entrance into a definite place. It is going to be mutaaddi bi harf. Mutaaddi bi harf. It is if it is not a definitive place. For example, when Allah says in Suratul Fajr, and that's a very beautiful example. And I have shared with you. Somebody asked in the in group this question about the fail mutaaddi dakhala. When it comes to dakhala, you should all know that this is fail mutaaddi, and it is mutaaddi, regularly mutaaddi, just like if it is entrance into a regular place. Udkhuli jannati, you enter my jannah, right? When it is a real place, it is simple mutaaddi. It is mutaaddi bi harf if it is not entrance into a place, if it is just an intangible area, as you can see here, fadkhuli fi ibadi. The note should be there. And if Sister Zarina will be kind enough to find the note from the chat, I think I shared that answer with Quranic Arabic Grammar Group, so you should be able to see that in there as well. Okay. So it can be reshared as well. Okay, that it is mutaddi field. Okay, he entered it. You can add it. Remember, and also I have actually shared with you the short lecture on the types of field. If you remember, your class recording has not been shared with you. You were given short lecture. So if you have not already heard, please make sure to hear it, because here you will find in there that how, if you can add a who at the end, if you can have a who at the end, then it is going to be fail mutaaddin. Okay. Yes, inshallah, after we are done with our basic topics, inshallah, definitely. I have, however, created a separate list for my advanced students. If you go to my YouTube channel, um, I have created separate list for you guys, so that you can have full access to what have been already covered. Okay, one second. I think I just lost my screen here. Um, okay, desktop. Status. Uh, 1 second. I think what did I do to my thing? I think I just pressed something. Okay. Share. Right now you cannot see anything. And okay. Okay, 1 second. Guys, can you see my screen now? Type 1 if you can. Alhamdulillah. Okay, now let's just quickly go over the test that we have covered. We have only 2 minutes left, but I just want you to quickly go over the test with me before I take you to the surf of this ayah. I want you to go over the test with me because there was still some confusion on some questions. So I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. Okay, so I think this is the one that we have attempted just recently. So everyone knows that status of Mubtada is what? For now, for a beginner, what do they need to know? For a beginner, Mubtada is always, if I give you an option like this, it's always going to be rough. But if I ask you, if I ask it in an advanced test, if a question is like this, that Mubtada is always rough in status, is it true or false? What will be the answer to that? False. Sister Zarina is on the top, on top of this because we have covered this very, deeply. That sometimes mubtada can have min zaida, and in that case it's going to be majroor lafzan marfu mahallan, so it can be, visibly it can be and fi mahalli raf, not rough, right? So keep in mind. So in jumla ismiya, the status of khabar is always rough. That should be something that should be very clear to each and every one of you. In jumla ismiya, jar wal majroor and mansoob zarf, Mansoob zarf are labeled as, how will you label your jar wal majroor and mansoob zarf based on what we have been doing? We have been covering our course as MBK. Very good job. Lillahi is going to be mubtada, khabar or muta'alliq bil. It's going to be muta'alliq bil. Alhamdu lillahi rabbil alameen is good. Alhamdu, give me the labeling for alhamdu. It is going to be M, which is mubtada, right? It is mubtada. When it comes to in jumla in Arabic, mubtada is always in the beginning of the sentence. Always in the beginning. No, it's incorrect. It is not always in the beginning in Arabic. Is mubtada always proper? What do you think? No. Khabar of jumla ismiya can be mufradasam or jumla, or both mufradasam and jumla. It is one, two, or three. Which option? Both. Both option is the correct option. This one, all more essentially, 50%, I think, or more than 50% were not able to correctly identify it. So, wabil akhirati hum yuqinun. What do you think bil akhirati is? It is going to be muta'alliq bil fail. Muta'alliq bil fail is the correct answer. Keep in mind, always remember, whenever you have a jumla ismiya and its khabar is jumla failya, muta'alliq bil is going to go to jumla failya. It will become muta'alliq bil fail. When it is, this one, I think I have, um, oh, this is repeated question. So when you label jar wal majroor and mansoob zarf, if the khabar of jumla ismiya is jumla fi'liya, what will you label? So it is in here, it is going to be muta'alliq bil. It is going to be muta'alliq bil fail. So zalika yawmul wa'idi. So this yawmu is mubtada, khabar or muta'alliq bil. Now that you have Is it muta'alliq bil or is it khabar or what? Think about it. Yawmul, yawmu, yawmu. It is going to be just khabar, 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 because it is not with fatha. It is not answering your when question. If it was giving you when question, if it was answering your when question, in that case you will label yom as mutalik bil, but this yom is just a khabar, that is the day, that is a promise day. It is not answering your time and place, right? So this zarf is going to be simply labeled as khabar. And another reason you are going to label it as khabar is, in Arabic things are very easy. The haraka, look at the haraka. If haraka is dhamma, the answer is going to be, the correct answer should be, it is khabar of the sentence. Okay. Najmu was shajaru yasjudani. What is the type of khabar in the ayah below? Mufradism, jumla ismiya, jumla feiliya. It is jumla feiliya. Wa min duniha jannatan. In the ayah above, what is the sign of rough status of mubtada? How is mubtada showing you its rough status? So if I have to ask you, give me one letter, because sometimes words are going to be light. So you are only going to give me, because there is no ani option. There's a reason I did not put any ani option. So this is going to be alif only. So what is the mubtada in this ayah below? Ilayhil masiru. It is ilayhi or al masiru. Masir, very good job. What is the khabar in the ayah below? Nahnu abna'ullahi wa ahibba'uhu. So what is the khabar in here? What will you label? Abna'u. Very good job. And wallahu ala kulli shayin qadir. What is the khabar in the ayah above? What is the khabar? Wallahu ala kulli shayin qadir. Qadir is the khabar. Wallahu ala kulli shayin qadir. What is the muta'alliq bil khabar? In here the mutalik bil is 1, 2 or 3. Ala kulli shayin kadir. Very good job. So one thing I want you to go over again is, make sure if you have something like bil akhirati hum yuqinun, you should know that bil akhirati is going to go to your jumla failure. Okay, it's not going to be labeled as mutalik bil khabar, it is going to be labeled as mutalik bil fail. With that, I will end the session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.